لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. I am Rashida Abubakar, your host on the program As You Answer the Call. Glad to be with you once again. NAHCON management and other stakeholders are now in Saudi Arabia for the second phase of pre-Hajj visit to put finishing touches to arrangement for the commencement of the 2025 Hajj. In this edition of the program, we shall focus on how NAHCON is going about the plans with service providers in Saudi Arabia. Also in the package, we have other regular segments such as Making the Hajj and NAHCON News Diary, which highlights the activities of NAHCON and other stakeholders in the Hajj industry. Still coming your way is the announcement of the quiz winner. Stay with us.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The program begins with the News Diary. Stay tuned.
The chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, has appealed for continued support from stakeholders in the Hajj industry in order to ensure a smooth and well-organized Hajj operation. The chairman made the appeal in his Salah message to the Muslim Ummah. He said adequate arrangements have been made for successful Hajj season this year. Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman advised the Ummah to continue imbibing the lessons embedded in Ramadan, particularly that of sacrifice, unity, patience, and obedience, among others. Meanwhile, the management of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, had held a strategic meeting with representatives of tour operators. The meeting took place at NAHCON office in Makkah. Speaking at the meeting, NAHCON chairman Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman called on the tour operators to submit applications for the booking of Tent A, saying the commission has already secured 1,000 bed spaces in Tent A. On Tent A plus space, Professor Abdullahi Saleh said NAHCON is awaiting further details from the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. He then urged the other tour operators to cooperate with NAHCON for a smooth Hajj operation. Among the issues raised by tour operators is the difficulty they face in making payments via the e-track system. On this, NAHCON promised to intervene and called on affected companies to avail the commission with more information. In other news, the newly appointed Secretary, Lagos State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Mr. Abdul Hakim Ajumebora, has sought the support of staff of the board in order to serve pilgrims diligently. Mr. Abdul Hakim made the plea when he officially assumed office this week. He noted that in achieving the statutory mandate of the board, all hands must be on deck. While appreciating Lagos State government for the appointment, particularly Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the newly appointed secretary further promised to improve staff welfare and create a conducive work environment for better service delivery. In another development, the Federal Capital Territory Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board has resumed its weekly Pilgrims Awareness Program after Ramadan break. It will commence tomorrow Saturday at the Permanent Hajj Transit Camp, Basenjiwa, Abuja. The director of the board, Malam Kadiri Eda, stated this in a statement released yesterday by the board's public relations officer, Muhammad Lawal. Malan Qadiri said the board has outlined different orientation programs that will equip pilgrims with the rudiments of performing the Hajj. He said this week's program will focus more on the new system of grouping pilgrims, nusuk policy, and transportation system in Saudi Arabia. The director also disclosed that medical screening will be conducted on Saturday the 12th and Sunday the 13th of April 2025, while inoculation for all intending pilgrims is scheduled for 19th and 20th of the same month.
Alhamdulillah, you are still watching As You Answer the Call, a public enlightenment presentation that keeps you abreast of the activities of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, and other Hajj-related matters. The management of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, led by its chairman, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Osman, is in Saudi Arabia to finalize preparations for the 2025 Hajj exercise. In our Spotlight segment tonight, we shall examine how far the Commission is faring in completing the preparations for the 2025 Hajj. Keep watching.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك لبيك لبيك.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, is leaving nothing to chance to ensure a successful 2025 Hajj exercise. To actualize this desire, NAHCON management and other stakeholders are in Saudi Arabia for the second phase of the pre-Hajj visit.
National Hajj Commission is in the second pre-Hajj visit to Saudi Arabia in the preparation and arrangement of Hajj 2025. This trip aimed at meeting with the service providers in Mecca and Medina. We have to provide accommodation for our pilgrims. We have to get the people that will deal with the services, catering services. Likewise, we have to prepare for medical services. Mashair also must be provided for the tents and all other related parts of Hajj operation. So the trip aimed at meeting with the stakeholders in order to get ready for the takeoff of Hajj 2025.
It is very important for the Commission to undertake the second visit. Number one, it has been the tradition and it has been scheduled. And that's how it has been for a very long time. And the essence is for the Commission to use that second visit as an avenue to carry out the follow-up of what we've done in the first visit, most especially in confirming if accommodations that we choose in the first visit are still existing. So it's a crucial part of the exercise.
An important aspect of the trip is to facilitate the payment of certain percentages of the services to be rendered to pilgrims.
Agreement state laid out, as soon as the agreement is signed and the auditor is given, 20% should be paid to the site provider, which Nigeria Hajj Authority have done already for the Medina accommodations.
As part of the preparations, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, also visited Saudi Arabia in the company of NAHCON officials to inspect Nigeria's medical facilities, among other engagements. Professor Pate also met with Saudi counterpart, during which discussions were held, focusing on plans to ensure that Nigerian pilgrims are provided proper medical attention, such as vaccination and addressing health challenges such as meningitis and polio. There were further discussions on policies, particularly those involving the options offered to participating countries to choose how to run their clinics.
The minister also listened to the presentation of the service providers because as I told, as you know, there is another new policy by the Saudi government that every country must go under one of the two options. There is option one under medical services, whereby a country will run its medical activities just as we used to do.
Oh.
That is, we have our doctors from our country, nursing, pharmacists, and all others, medical personnel. We have to provide our drugs. We have our ambulances. We have to establish our clinics, outposts, and all other medical activities are under control of National Hajj Commission, under our medical personnel. But this one must be under supervision of somebody from Saudi government. This is what is called option A.
NAHCON Commissioner also explained the other options.
Option B is a situation whereby all medical activities must be run by a service provider from the Saudi government itself. We have to provide clinics, we have to provide ambulances, we have to bring the doctors, nurses, and all other medical activities are to be provided by that service provider. So when we start and we meet in Abuja before coming, we realize that option A will be better to us. After all, there must be language barrier. Our people may not understand the doctor that are being employed, and all other, there are a lot of advantages that made us compulsory to select option A. So when the minister came, we called that service provider and made his presentation before the minister. There are some questions presented to them and they answered the question. That is the second item that minister attended.
The performance of the core Hajj rites takes place at Muna, Arafah, and Muzdalifah. And so, comprehensive arrangements are being put in place for Nigerian pilgrims.
We are going to visit Arafah, to visit Mina, to visit Muzdalifah, to see physically what is there. And I know we have been discussing with the service provider there, and inshallah we will go and see physically what is planned there, so that we will take the necessary action. But there too, we are going to have problems, particularly last year we faced problem in 28. But this year, the National Hajj Commission is working tirelessly in order to satisfy our pilgrims.
Now we know what we experienced in that last time, and to mitigate against it, we are working so hard to see that, one, the tent is habitable, the tent A is sufficient for the pilgrims who desire to go for upgrade to tent A. We have done that, and again, we split the contract this period to create for competition. We gave Mashari Kalabia Mashar, we equally engage the Kramudev for the same Mashar, which is Mina and Arafat, accommodation and feeding. Then we now look at, okay, we get another contract of Mina on the VIP pilgrims.
With the arrangements almost completed, the issuance of visas to Nigerian pilgrims has also commenced, and NAHCON is committed to ensuring that deadlines are met.
If you don't have accommodation in Makkah, so you cannot be issued a visa. If you don't have accommodation in Medina, you cannot be issued. If you don't have the sharing package, definitely you can't get a visa. So all has been tagged for the issuance of visa. And we know very well that if you don't have all these critical facility, it will be difficult for us to issue a visa. So, and we have been able to cover all these critical requirements.
In a move to streamline provision of basic travel allowance BTA to pilgrims, the Central Bank of Nigeria has adopted the policy of making payments using electronic card in Saudi Arabia.
And the CBN has insisted that it will be card this year, no going back. And it's a policy of the government. We are law abiding citizens, and we are arm of the government. You cannot go against government policy. So we are prepared, we are in this one, and telling them ahead of time that the BTA will be carded for you. Prepare your mind and work towards that. That is where we are at the moment, the issue of BTA. Or the issue of getting less is not going to come up because it will be carded. When your card is carded, you have 500 equivalent to your card.
Towards this end, measures are in place to educate pilgrims on how to go about the use of electronic cards for their BTA.
We have an arm in our commission that is named Preview Education, and they have sent a memo to the chairman on sensitization on this very issue, and we have informed the state to start sensitizing our pilgrim as well. One NAHCON is going to go around. Immediately we apart from these arrangements, we are already sending message to the state. Even some of the state are already putting them. Already informed them on the way to go. They are doing that very well.
Indeed, the preparations underscore NAHCON's commitment in ensuring that Nigerian pilgrims perform the Hajj in line with global best practices and also to get value for their money.
MashaAllah, the program is As You Answer the Call. Coming up next is Making the Hajj. Tonight, Malama Halima Said continues the discussions on days in which the core Hajj rites are performed. Let's hear her after this short break.
Hajj is one of the pillars of Islam.
The combination of the Holy Kaaba is a pillar of the major pilgrimage.
Arafah is the most significant pillar of Hajj.
Whoever misses Arafah has missed Hajj.
The most important benefit of Hajj is to be born again.
And Al-Hajj al-Mabrur, accepted Hajj, has no any reward except the paradise.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم.
Still on the Arafah day, pilgrims continue their supplications until sunset.
That sunset, that is when the Arafat will be gotten. So if mistakenly one should leave Arafat before sunset, meaning the Hajj is not valid at all, you have not gotten the Hajj. So don't think that simply because maybe you have started standing up, maybe supplicating from that Zuhur when the two prayers have been joined together as Job Utakadim, you'll be thinking that we have gotten the Arafah. No. Until sunset during Maghrib. That is when you will get that Arafah. That is why anyone that came late, for instance, maybe someone can come after Maghrib, like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 midnight to the Arafat. He has gotten the Arafat. As far as it is not Fijr, Al-Fijr, the following year.
At the sunset of Arafah day, pilgrims move to Muzdalifah, where they are expected to observe Maghrib and Isha combined, with Isha shortened to 2 rakat instead of 4.
You know, we said sunset, that's Maghrib time. So pilgrims should not pray Maghrib in the Arafat. It's not allowed. So what is allowed is the pilgrims will move. They will proceed to Muzdalifah. So even if maybe you have not been taken, maybe the bus is not there to carry you. Maybe you have been staying there up to like 11 o'clock, and so that does not warrant you to pray Maghrib there. You have to wait as far as it is not Al-Fijr the following day. So whatsoever time you will be there, you should wait until you reach Muzdalifah. So when you reach Muzdalifah, that is where it is allowed for you, or it is where it is recommended for you to pray Maghrib and Isha'i together. But you have to start with the Maghrib. Immediately after the Maghrib, after you terminate Salam, the Maghrib, then you stand up again and pray Isha'i 2 raka'at as Qasr.
On the 10th of Zulhijjah, pilgrims perform the following Hajj rites: pelting the Jamra al-Aqaba, or the Big Jamra, perform Tawaful Ifada and Sa'i, slaughtering animals and shaving their hair for male, while female cut a strand from their hairs.
You have to start with the Jamra. When you do the Jamra, then you do the shaving, then you do the slaughtering, then you proceed to Makkah to do your Tawaful Ifada. Because almost all the three have been done in Muna. The Jamra and the slaughtering, the cutting. So it's done there. It's only the Tawaful Ifada that you proceed to. So when you finish all, then you proceed to Makkah.
On the 11th day, pilgrims pelt the 3 Jamara pillars. While pelting the Jamara, pilgrims must ensure that each pebble thrown hits the pillar.
On 11 is stoning the 3 Jamrats. The Jamratul Ula, Jamratul Wusta, and the Jamratul Aqaba. The 3. So, depending on maybe those leading the pilgrims, because there are a lot of diversion of ulamas. Some says you can go to Jamrat, maybe anything when the sun rises, but some of opinion that it has to be during Zawali, that is around 1 or so. After Zuhur, then you start proceeding to Jamrat to go and stone the 3, depending on which one you have taken. So on that 11, that is the only thing that the pilgrims are supposed to do. It is wajib on them to do that. So each of the Jamra, you pick 7 small stones or pebbles. That you start with the first one, not like the one you did yesterday that you pass the first and the second to the 3rd. But this time around, you are starting with the first Jamra. You will stone it 7 times.
Pilgrims are expected to perform similar act on the 12th and 13th of Zulhijjah, with that of the 13th being optional.
It is the same thing on 12th. Just what they have done on 11, it is the same thing on the 12th of Zulhijjah. Going for the Jamrat, throwing the stone for the first Jamrat, second Jamrat, and the 3rd Jamrat, and also supplicating by the side of the first and the second one, but avoiding the 3rd one. So that is what they are going to do on that 12th. But on that 12th, the Holy Quran has given option. If you want to leave on that 12th, it is allowed. You can leave Mina from that 12 back to Mecca. But if you wish, you want to stay up to 13, then you can stay back until the following day 13, and you are going to do the same thing, throw in the first, second, and the 3rd before proceeding to Mecca. But if you feel from that 12, you are okay, it is allowed. So it's optional.
Malama Halima Said encourages Muslims to widen their knowledge on Hajj and other Islamic matters generally.
Now it's time to know the winner of the last quiz and also the question for this week. Good luck.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Welcome to the quiz segment. The question in the last episode was, which day did the Prophet ﷺ describe as the Hajj? The correct answer is, it is the day of Arafah. The winner is Umar Ibrahim from Jigawa State. He provided the answer ahead of others. Umar Ibrahim will be contacted on how NAHCON will reach him with the prize he won. A quiz winner will get 25,000 Naira cash prize. This is part of NAHCON's effort in social investment in Nigeria. Now to the quiz for this week. And the question is, mention 3 Hajj rites pilgrims perform on the 10th day of Zulhijjah. Again, mention 3 Hajj rites pilgrims perform on the 10th day of Zulhijjah. Text your answer to the number showing on your screen. The winner will be the first person whose correct answer is received. All answers should carry the name and location of sender. Good luck and happy viewing.
Once again, good luck to you. Up next are your messages.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لبيك.
Salama to Yusuf from Lagos State sent in the first message. It reads, "We are grateful to NAHCON for this educative and informative program as you answer the call. Keep it up." Abdullahi Mohammed from Nasarawa State sent in the second message. It says, "We appreciate how NAHCON quiz segment helps us to conduct research on Hajj and Islam generally."
The message segment ends this week's edition of the program. See you same time, same day next week with another edition of the program. But before we go, remember that you can send your messages, comments, observations and questions through our mobile phone number and other social media platforms. Once again, thanks for watching. Ma'asalam.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا